Hey everyone, welcome to It Tastes Different Game Reviews. And what are we reviewing this time? The game that needs no introduction, Diablo 4. Diablo 4 is an action role-playing game developed and published by Blizzard Entertainment. It is the fourth installment of the mainline series of the Diablo franchise. Of course, there's Diablo Immortal, but that's not a part of the mainline games, right? And it came out on June 5th of 2023. It came out on early access if you got the digital deluxe or ultimate extravaganza version. It came out on was it June 1st, I believe, for that. It came out on PlayStation 4 and 5, Windows, Xbox One, Series X and S. It is, again, action role-playing, hack and slash, multiplayer, set in the Diablo universe. Again, fourth installment of the Diablo game. It's not like Diablo Immortal in the case of microtransactions, even though it does have microtransactions, but it's all cosmetic stuff. So you don't have to worry about buying gems, at least not yet, right? Hopefully that's not going to be the case. They say it's not, but you don't have to buy gems to level up your gems and things like that nature like you do in Diablo Immortal. But again, Diablo Immortal is a free-to-play game, whereas Diablo 4 is a fully priced game. Right. I believe it's $70 for the regular version. And then, kind of goes up from there. If you want the digital deluxe, I think it was like, what is it, 80 or something like that. And then 90 for the ultimate edition that comes with some extra perks as well as, of course, early access, which, of course, me and Pat, we had to go for the early access. So but we're going to go here to Pat and see what he thinks of Diablo 4. We had Diablo 3, which had a rough start, but Diablo 3 ended up, towards the end to be a really good game. Like now, Diablo 3 is a good, fun Diablo game, but it did start out rough, right? And we weren't sure how Diablo 4 was going to do. So, Pat, what do you think? How did Diablo 4 do?
Well, relatively smooth release, right? Not a whole lot of issues, few issues here and there, but mostly I would say the issues popped up once the game full released, right? We played pretty well and then started noticing some latency issues once full release happened, So in early access, I didn't really see a whole lot of problems, just some minor stuff that happened out there. The game basically brought back the barbarian, the sorcerer, the druid, the necromancer, and then I believe the rogue is new. It's kind of a combination, I would almost call it close to some of the other, the witch hunter or whatever class. But, it's a melee ranged combat character with a bow. So, take what you will from that. But the rogue is newish. It's different, so it doesn't make a return like the other ones do. So, and I'm sure with later expansions, the game will introduce new classes like they always do. We'll probably get back to seeing some of the older ones come back. There's no Amazon. A few classes are missing, but so we'll see what happens with that. I think the bigger change is the paid for seasons are going to be in this one, right? You can participate in the seasons just like Destiny and all these other ones for free, but you're going to be missing out on the additional tier loot that comes with it, such as armor skin. I think they're going to talk about each season. If you pay the 10 extra bucks for the season, which runs like 3 months, will come with like 2 cosmetic armor sets and things like that you can't get if you don't pay for the pass, And then if you want the accelerated, which is going to be like 25 bucks, which I think gives you like a 10, I think what I read was a 10 level boost, so you'll get, or actually it'll give you 20 tiers. Sorry, not 10, but 20. So you'll get that and things like that. So, they're changing that up because seasons used to not have a paid for function in Diablo 3. It was just, the seasons ran and if you completed it, you got the items from it, the cool armor sets, the green armor sets and things like that. And then that also character levels transferred to your Paragon levels and things like that. So I'm interested to see what they're doing. Um, with the seasons to see how they play compared to what we're used to on the old ones because I've not seen one. I'm not seen one yet. They're not running a season yet, at least not that I'm aware of. But may not be high enough level yet. I think we just struck 50, last night. So we're not even through. We've not even started Act 4 yet. So we still got a few acts to go. So there are enough side quests to choke a large elephant and probably a few whales with it. But a lot of side quests, a lot of places to visit, relatively smooth for me. So that's a good thing. All my qualms of pay to win and all the microtransactions out the wazoo so far have been quelled. But I will say that their item market is highly, highly expensive. Like I was looking at some armor on there. One set of armor that I was looking at was like almost $30 US dollars for a set of cosmetic. And I played the necromancer because I played the necro and the sorcerer in the betas, in the open and the closed beta. I didn't play the server slam, but I played those two. And so, but I looked at some of the cosmetic gear and it ranges, but the stuff that looks cool is closer to $30 worth of their in-game currency, which is a bit ridiculous. $30 for an outfit seems stupid, but it just means it's not for me. Some kid out there probably asked their mom for $30 and just blew it on an outfit for their Diablo character, but not me. That's way outside my price range. It's $5 or something, maybe, but not for me right now. But what about you, Nick? What are your early thoughts on this game and what you played?
Yeah, so far I'm really enjoying it. I was really hoping we played the closed beta, and then we played. I played Server Slam as well, and I enjoyed my time during that. So that was hopeful for the full release, right? Luckily, with the full release, even through early access and through launch, um, they've had some issues, but very minor, right? It's not been as turbulent as a lot of, especially their past launches with games. And a lot of new games have come out that have launched with this online live service game that has those turbulent launches where the launch just, servers are up and down and people can't get in, long queue times and stuff. I think the longest queue time that we may have had was like 5 minutes. But most of the time we were able to just get right in. So it's gone really smoothly. Now everybody else can play. The people that didn't purchase for the early access, and which is going to bring more people in. So they might exhibit more server issues with that, because now we have a larger influx of people. Because I don't know how many people bought early access. There was quite a few, but compared to just regular, I'll play it on the on the 5th when it comes out type thing, right? I'm sure there was probably a lot more that did that instead. So they might end up having more server issues and stuff like that. But right now it's been really smooth. There's not been a lot of bugs in games. There are some bugs, and we've ran across some things. Like the other day I was playing, and the wolves, for some reason, in the starting zone were invisible, or half their textures were showing up. The game has some weird issues where it'll lag in certain areas, like really bad. And I don't think that's like, we're playing on PC. I don't think that's necessarily our rigs. I think that's coming from the server side of things. And so that's, I think that because it's sporadic, right? I mean, like Pat would get it sometimes in certain areas, and then I would get it in certain areas sometimes. And then sometimes we would get it together in like, there's a PvP town that you get to eventually. And that town for some reason had really bad lag. As soon as for me, it was when we were trying to exit the town, I believe, is when it would just like hang up and just have a hard time. So I don't know. There's just probably just some tweaks and things that they need to do. Maybe some, something, or maybe it could be just server side where the servers can't keep up with what's going on. But they'll get those kinks and things worked out. I know they do have some other bugs. There's like a boss that I read that can disappear. We did have an issue with that. I don't think that was the same boss that the people online are talking about, but one of the bosses that you fight, for me and Pat, we killed the boss and the game just didn't continue. We just sat there and we were kind of stuck in the little boss arena and nothing was happening. So we had to port out of that area, go back in and fight the boss again. Luckily, the second time the game was like, oh, yeah, you killed it, and continued the story on. But apparently, there's another boss that can just disappear as you're fighting it, and that kills that, and you have to go back in and do it again, type thing. So they do have some kinks, but they will get those things patched out. They have already dropped patches for the game, which is nice. More on the side of character balances, they got to find the right balance so that way the people that you play aren't overpowered compared to others. I've played most of the classes. I think you've played a lot of the magic classes. I played a lot of the melee classes. There are still some tweaks that need to happen. I think the druid, while it's a cool class, I still think needs some balancing. It can be a little squishy, and its spirit, it uses spirit instead of mana, which is pretty much the same thing. But all of its powers, even though they're powerful, like one or two hits with those, and your spirit's pretty much depleted, right? And you have to use regular attacks. Whereas other classes that also have a magic pool that need to be utilized don't seem to have the same problem. So it seems like, I don't know if for that class in particular, if that's necessarily how that class is supposed to work, because for the druid, I feel like without its either with its companions, having your companion, because you can spawn companions with that class, either having those out or not being able to use its magic as much. It's kind of a weak class beyond that, right? With its regular just melee hits and stuff, and its squishiness. You have to use a lot of protective spells with that class, it feels like. So that class might need a little bit of balancing. And I've read online, and I know they did some fixes with it, but I read online that people are still kind of looking for some balancing with the druid. But overall, I'm loving it. I think it's a great game. I love Diablo as a franchise. It's one of my favorite Blizzard franchises. It's actually my favorite Blizzard franchise. I love World of Warcraft and StarCraft and all those mainline what made Blizzard, the three mainline ones. But Diablo has always been my favorite. I've always loved Diablo compared to those. So I was really hoping Diablo 4 would turn out to be really good, because even though I like Diablo 3, I liked Diablo 3 once they got all the kinks and everything worked out. And trust me, I put a ton of hours into Diablo 3 and plenty of characters. But I like Diablo 2 better than 3. As far as like atmosphere and just kind of, I didn't like the way they did with Diablo 3, the way that they kind of went with the way that Diablo 3 looks. Even though it looks good, it looks more like World of Warcraft. They kind of went that route with Diablo 3 with the character design and everything, because World of Warcraft kind of has that cartoony look to its character models and stuff. And they kind of did that with Diablo 3. That was kind of the time where Blizzard was like making everything look like World of Warcraft as far as the art style goes, right? They kind of was everything was kind of keeping that same type of art style. And they did it with Diablo 3. And I think it took away from what Diablo is, right? Diablo is more set in reality. Whereas, World of Warcraft is more like fantasy. Whereas Diablo is set in kind of like, of course, it's medieval, like hell's breaking loose, but it's like it's supposed to be like real people in a real situation in real medieval area, right? You could think of it as almost like some planet somewhere, and not necessarily like a fantasy, but more like set in kind of, I don't know, if hell broke loose on Earth type thing, but it's not Earth, right? So because Diablo 2 had more realistic character models. They had like people looking like people and things like that, and not so cartoonish. Where Diablo 4 luckily kind of goes back to that, harkens back to Diablo 2 style. I feel like Diablo 4 reminds me a lot of Diablo 2 in the sense of its art style, the direction with things, how things are kind of with a mixture of Diablo 3 stuff, right? There's definitely Diablo 3 stuff in there. The good bits from Diablo 3 are stuffed into Diablo 4. And then the stuff that people like about Diablo 2 are kind of thrown in there as well. Um, so it's a good mixture of both of those games. So I think Diablo 4 it's a really good game. I'm really enjoying my time with it. I think Blizzard knocked it out of the park with this one. And luckily they keep it up. You know, we haven't seen the seasons like you said. So I'm not sure when they're starting the seasons. I don't think they've started them yet. I think I had read that they were going to start them at some later time. I don't know. I don't know if it's like next year that they're starting them or just a couple months from now they're going to start the first season. I'm sure they probably have a roadmap out there or something that would say, but you know, the producer on this one was Rod Ferguson, which we all or people out there may or may not know. You know, that was the producer over on the Coalition, which did all the Gears, like Gears 4 and 5, and I think 3 and a lot of the older Gears as well. You know, he kind of moved up there when the Coalition took over. He kind of took over and Gears was great, right? And so he left that to actually bring out Diablo Immortal and Diablo 4. So he's kind of been the kind of the spearhead on bringing those franchises out to the market. And you know, clearly he's done a pretty good job because, you know, with Diablo Immortal, even though it is a free to play mobile game, and you know, we reviewed Diablo Immortal, it's very successful, right? Even though and it's for a mobile game, it's pretty fun, except for the microtransactions that, you know, get thrown in your face every 5 seconds. Other than that, it's a good Diablo game. Like, it's pretty cool for a mobile game. And then Diablo 4, you know, had a really smooth launch, which we were all praying for. And yeah, it's just been great. And I started as a rogue for me and Pat playing together. The rogue's a lot of fun. Like Pat said, it's kind of a new character, kind of a mixture between, I don't know, an assassin from Diablo 2 and the witch doctor from 3, I would say. Kind of like a mixture of both of those. Not the Amazon though. If they do bring back a character, I think they'll probably do, or if, you know, in an expansion, probably I would imagine like the Paladin or something. But I don't know. What do you
Yeah.
think?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I like the Paladin was kind of fun class. I think they're slating sometime for mid to end of July for the first season to start. You know, I mean, that's just last I heard. I don't think there's a set date or anything right now still. So, you know, but yeah, I mean, I don't know how much PvP I'm going to get into, but yeah, that PvP town was pretty rough for me. Like, I lagged like the entire time we were in there and just trying to get out. I'm like, I just need to get away from this place, rubber banding and everything. So, and it ain't like it's my hardware or anything. I've got a pretty up to date modern PC and I've got gigabit internet. So, you know, it's just a bad place to be sometimes. And, you know, so I mean, I'm sure there was lots of stuff going on. Just the thing to note about seasons is to make sure that if you want to participate in season 1, you have to complete the campaign before season 1, before you can basically participate in season 1. Any of the seasons require you to complete the campaign. So just make sure if you're interested in that, you need to beat it before mid to late July so that you can get in on that season pass stuff. Yeah, I mean, really, the only complaints I really have about the game is their side quests seem to pop up at just completely random bad times, right? Like, there's plenty of times where we will have gone over a zone more than once, completing quests and stuff, and then get ready to leave the zone, and you look on the map, and you're like, where the hell did those 3 side quests come from? They weren't there like the last time. And you're just like, this is insane. And then they make you run all over the zone again. So you end up spending more time, and this could just be a ploy by them, but you end up spending a lot more time in a zone than you would have normally, because by the time you clear the main campaign and the first set of side quests, another set have popped up. And then when you finish that next set, another set may pop up. And you're like, I was over there not even 10 minutes ago. And it's happened plenty of times. We ran the campaign in Act 3, and we were way up in a place that doesn't have a waypoint. and finished the mission and then left and then look in the map and guess what? There's a side quest right next to where the mission ended. And I'm like, where does this come from? So they really need to fix their side quests, in my opinion. They either need to all be showing up so I could just gather them up and do them or run into them or whatever. But I hate that you've completely dumped a zone out of everything in there and you're ready to move on to the next zone. And next thing you know, there's too many side quests. That annoys me to no end. And then I'm sure Nick hates this too, but I really annoyed with the Warlock's Blight corpse explosion ability because it just fogs out the entire screen. You can't see anything underneath of it. I'm just sitting there targeting red outlines. That's all I'm doing. I mean, it's kind of a cool concept, but man, you can't see anything inside of that cloud of crap. And I'm like, this is
my
annoying.
rogue is, I'm pretty much just
blind
clicking on, because the rogue is, I'm close, my build is close combat. So I'm in the middle of Patrick's clouds and all I'm doing is clicking on red health bars because I know those are the enemies.
Yeah, and it's so bad. I mean, it gets messy. The necromancer gets messy because, at any given time, I think right now I've got 9, 10, 11 summons out. And then next thing you know, I'm exploding blighted corpses, which causes a black cloud of crap and it distorts the screen. So that annoys me to no end because then I can't see what's happening inside the cloud. And there's been plenty of times where everything has died and I'm running into the cloud toward get the loot. And then there's explodey guy died and he's just building up to explode. Explodes right when I get in there. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I couldn't see that until it was too late. So I think that's a pain in the butt. And I've not found a way to turn that off it needs to be more opaque. It doesn't need to be so dark and blot out the screen. Because usually when that happens, especially if I do my ultimate, it's just a black crawl out in the middle of the screen. You can't see jack. And I'm like, well, this is stupid. So, but this is just minor inconvenience. It doesn't make the game unplayable or anything. The side quest thing is just more annoying. And I'm kind of tired of running already. I'm ready for that mount.
Yeah, we're almost there, man. We're almost there.
But that's just that. But I mean, for overall, it's been a pretty good game. I mean, it feels a little bit more of the same. I mean, the zones are different. You're in Sanctuary, all that kind of stuff, and it's good. But let's see what happens at the end game. I want to see what the end game of this looks like, and Nick and I got the early access copy and some of our friends did not. So we will probably be starting over with them, so it'll be a little bit of a trek till we finish the campaign as we will have started it over again, and no skipping all the quests because the other person has not got to see them yet. So we won't be fast tracking the dialogue as much neither. So, but overall, it's been a successful launch, in my opinion, a good game. And it seems like they're getting a popular amount it's being popular enough to, like most Blizzard games are, they're really popular and people play them and want to play them. So, so ultimately it's been a great release and launch. I think the only thing I'm a little bit disappointed about is I did not get the mount, the cry of the cry of Ashvara or whatever mount, because I thought, and this could be wrong, because that the mount was available if you killed Ashvara in any of them, but according to what I read, it was just if you did it in the server slam, and I did not do the server slam. I already leveled up a character to cap in both the closed beta and the open. I'm like, there's no point for me to play the server slam. I don't want to fight queues with tons of people, and that seems like the only place to have gotten the mount. So I guess I miss out on the mount, which it is what it is at that point. So I won't get the cool Ashvara mount. I'll be riding coach in the back.
Well, the item you get is just a trophy that goes on your mount. So it's Ashvara's horn.
Oh, the little war horn that hang off the back of the mount, right?
Yeah, sticks on your horse.
Yeah.
So I did that during Server Slam. I leveled up the character to 20 and then went and fought Ashvara and killed it on the very last spawn for the very last day. I'm waiting there.
So you just got in, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, I got all the other stuff. I didn't. I thought it was during all of the betas, and I did them during the closed beta and the open beta, but I didn't play the server slam because I'm like, I don't need to play the server slam. I'm got what I need and I'm ready for the game to play. I don't need to run these quests for the third time and on release play for the fourth time. So
I ran them for the third time.
Yep. And now you ran it for the fourth time again.
And the fifth time.
So good, successful game, and the microtransactions aren't as bad as Immortal, which I'm glad they're not. I was a little worried.
Yeah. Agreed. I'm really enjoying it. I think it's a really great game. Blizzard says it's the fastest selling. I thought I read it's the fastest selling Blizzard game. They say, but they haven't given us sales numbers. But that's what they claim. So it could be. I don't know. I mean, Diablo 4. I mean, you look at the news right now, and probably for well into the future here for a little while, and it's nothing but Diablo 4 at the moment. So everyone's talking about it, and they, Blizzard is promoting the hell out of it. So they got music videos, they got celebrities talking about it, everything. I mean, you can go to Walmart, get you Diablo 4 lunchbox when you go to school, thermos. No, I don't know if they probably do have that, but no, they don't have it at Walmart. I was just thinking like back in the day, whenever those things came out and you go to Walmart and all that stuff would be there. You could take it to school, be cool with the cool kids. Nowadays it's like, PC mats and keyboards and speakers. I think Steel Series is selling all that for Diablo, which it's cool looking, but it's a little pricey. But yes, the microtransactions are not, they're not a problem right now, at least, and hopefully won't be. They're all cosmetic, but they are expensive. I think you can get some horse armor, which we're back to Oblivion. That's started the whole horse armor thing. But it's like 25. You have to spend like $25 $25 worth of in-game currency or real money to get the in-game currency to buy said horse armor. So I don't think the horse armor and some of the other armors as well, they don't cost $25 per se, but that's the amount of that's the amount you have to spend to get enough in-game currency, because they do just like every other game where it's not, you can't buy just the small in-game currency amount, because that just, if it's 900 in-game currency, well, that item costs 1,000. So now you got to buy the next one up, in order to purchase it, which then becomes the higher priced, currency. So then you do have currency left over, but the cool thing about that is you have currency left over that you can't spend on anything. So if you want to spend that currency, you got to buy more currency. So that's how all these games with the currency system work, and I've looked at the armor myself too and thought, hey, those look pretty cool. That looks pretty neat. And I would probably buy something here and there, but they got to bring the price down, because right now it's a little too expensive. So, it is what it is. But anyway, ultimately, this game is a ton of fun. I'm really enjoying it. I think it'll be, I don't know. I think it might, right now, it could be a Game of the Year nominee, right? Will it get Game of the Year? I don't know, because the year is still early. We got a lot of games coming out, and it's got to compete with like Tears of the Kingdom, which you definitely know is going to be on the Game of the Year nomination, right? But could it be there with it? I think it probably will be there with it, more than likely, along with some other ones. Will it get Game of the Year? I don't know, right? Again, it's still early in the year. We still got a lot of games that are going to be coming out. So, Starfield's coming out, which could beat Diablo or Tears. I mean, that's saying a lot, but it could. We haven't played that game or anything like that. And we have other games that we don't, know about or know how they're going to be. And those could end up being really good. But as far as Diablo 4 goes, regardless of Game of Year or not, it is a really good game. And if you haven't picked it up, if you love Diablo, I would recommend this one. If you skipped out on, I don't know why you would skip out on any of those, but if you skipped out on any of the other Diablo releases and you're thinking about getting back into Diablo 4 is a good starting point to come and jump in and join everybody playing Diablo 4. If you played Diablo 1, 2, and 3 and you weren't sure about 4, I would say go ahead and pick up 4, because you're not going to be disappointed. And if you enjoyed 1, 2, and 3, or if you just played 3 and you enjoyed 3, then you're going to enjoy 4. I mean, that's ultimately, they keep the formula the same, right? The formula, the overall foundation of Diablo is still there, and that's the most important thing. They got some fun classes to choose from. The graphics look good. Everything looks really nice. Story seems to be pretty interesting. we're missing some of the old characters that we know and love from the franchise, but that's okay. They got new ones that are doing a pretty good job on it. So, the new Deckard Cain, I guess, Lorath, is it? Yeah, Lorath, I believe his name is. That voice actor is pretty cool. I like his voice. He's got that kind of like, I don't know, groggly, like smoker's voice or something. I'm not sure, but but it sounds cool. And I've actually heard him in some other game. I can't remember what it was, but I heard it the other day and I was like, hey, that's that guy from Diablo. But that it's a cool voice to listen to, and it fits well for a protagonist that's going to follow you along, kind of like Deckard Cain did in the older series. So, that's cool.
Well, if you watch Game of Thrones, he's actually in Game of Thrones.
So. Is he in Game of Thrones?
Yeah.
Who is he in Game of Thrones?
He's the Lord, one of the lords. What's his name? I can't remember his name, but he's in Lord of the Rings. He's in Chernobyl too. If you watch that and stuff like that,
he was in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
the movie or the show. I've never seen the show, but
yeah, I can't remember which one of it was, but yeah, he's been in that. He's been in quite a bit of stuff. So I mean,
I'm sure he has. Yeah,
I mean, he's got that, as Nick said, that distinct voice. So if he's the English guy. So
yeah. Well, when I heard the voice, I mean, even in Diablo, I was like, it just sounds familiar, and I've probably seen him in Game of Thrones or something like that, or if he was in the Lord of the Rings movie or something else that he's been in. There was another game though that I did hear his voice in. I can't remember what game it was, but I heard it and I was like, oh, hey, it's that guy. So sounds like he's probably going to get a lot of voice acting roles, I would imagine, here soon. So you'll probably be hearing him a lot. That seems to happen a lot with really good voice actors, is you end up seeing or hearing them a lot in a lot of different games. They get cast a lot. Troy Baker and all them, you hear them quite often in a lot of different games. So it might be the same way for this individual. But overall, the game is great. I think it's a lot of fun. Get out there and slay some demons, have a good time. It is crossplay, so if you got a buddy like we do that has it on Xbox, as we were playing it on PC, guess what? You get to play together. So, and I believe, I'm not 100% sure on this, but I thought I read it's also cross save, which I could see it being, because even on your Xbox you have to log into your Blizzard account. So, they could. You might be able to play your character on your Xbox and then play it on your PC or PS5 or whatever. I'm not 100% sure on that part, but it is cross play. So you can play with your friends that are on PlayStation or on Xbox. If you're playing on PC or vice versa, right? So you can play with your buddies no matter where they're at. So like Pat said, Shane, he got it on Xbox, but he got on a release date. So hopefully he'll be playing here soon, and then we're going to start new characters with him and progress through the game together. So it'll be a lot of fun. But Pat, you got anything else you want to add?
Nope. If you're a fan of Diablo, check it out. Or that top-down type game, isometric game, you'd like it.
Yeah. Yeah. If you like those types of games, Path of Exile, Diablo, Lost Eden, Lost Elden. I can't remember that game. This is on Steam. I can't remember what it's called. Games like that. Diablo 2, Diablo 3, whatever. Those isometric games, like Pat said. If you like those types of games, you like action, you like dungeon crawlers where you get to level up, min-max your characters, things like that, kind of Dungeons and Dragons style, type of gameplay. If you like that type of stuff, which me and Pat do, I think all of us do. A lot of people like that type of gameplay. This is definitely one to pick up and check out. But let us know what you think. Have you played Diablo 4? Have you played any of the Diablos? Which one's your favorite? Let us know down in the comments below. And especially if you played Diablo 4, which one is your favorite? Is the fourth one your favorite? Or do you like the first one or the second one or the third one the most? Which one? Everyone has their most favorite one. And let us know down in the comments what your favorite Diablo is. And what's your favorite character too? What's your favorite, what character do you typically play? You like to do the barbarian? You more of the druid, paladin, necromancer? What's your favorite class that you like to play? So let us know down in the comments below. Other than that, thanks for watching, everybody. Make sure to like the video. Make sure to subscribe if you're not already. Do us a favor. Make sure Lilith doesn't get us and hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell notification to stay up to date with new videos that we do all the time. We'll see you next time.